Hello students, I'm Himani Sharma, your educator. I warmly welcome you all on our YouTube platform where we in today's video are going to discuss yet another important Indian novelist and her name is Bharati Mukherjee. So as far as English literature का जो आपका UGC NET paper 2 is concerned, we see that many a times Indian writing in English now is gaining much and more significance, much and more prominence. So we need to make sure कि हम लोग जो हैं इन नॉवलिस्ट को थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़ लें एंड ऑफ कोर्स ये चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है दैट यू ऑल आर डूइंग द समरीज ऑफ द वर्क्स ऑन योर ओन, राइट? सो टू मेक श्योर दैट इन टुडेज वीडियो I for sure will be providing you with the overview of the works जो मैं भारती मुखर्जी के लेके आई हूँ, लेकिन a greater detailed summary और जितनी भी summary most of the times is available on any piece of website, you are supposed to read that on your own, right? So without wasting any further time, let's just look at the picture that I have for you all here. So she was born in the year 1940 in Calcutta and passed away in 2017 in New York. Usually she is known as a person, a writer who is a British, Indian, American writer, right? And इनके works में we'll be seeing themes, we will be discussing all the themes as well, like the themes of alienation. Because she herself was an immigrant, she was herself a diasporic writer, so to say. We see all those things, they are being reflected in her works, so to say, right? So first of all, some basic facts about her, that delineated in her writing the cultural changes and alienation in the immigrant experience. So whenever a person moves from one country to the other, they feel some sort of, lost of touch with the culture. जब हम लोग किसी अलग कंट्री में रहने जाते हैं, we all feel like we are not belonging here, right? Even if we are surrounded by people who would be from our culture, most of the times the people would be of that country. So that is something which draws a boundary here कि हम लोग अपने आप को एक्ट नहीं कर पाते, we feel alienated, even if we have moved there for the purpose of work, for the purpose of study, for the purpose of a better lifestyle, but yet we feel some sort of alienation that comes with that. And we also will see that she will be talking about cultural changes in here that will also come कि अगर हम इंडिया में रह रहे हैं, इंडिया का culture, and suddenly we move to the UK, the culture would be completely different, right? So all the cultural clashes that come when a person, when an immigrant from one place to another moves, right? तो वो क्या चीजें face करते हैं? Her works features not only the cultural clashes but also the undercurrents of violence, and this violence would majorly be in the form of some sort of emotional violence, not in the sort of physical violence, so to say. We also see that in her works, most of the times, the women that are portrayed, they are not the ones who are conventional. They are breaking the stereotypical image of, they are breaking the stereotype, right? And men are a mix of both in her works. We see that they are the ones who are mostly tamed as well, and they are the ones who are also practicing some sort of emotional violence on the women who are there in their lives as well, right? So we see that her works, they do not show the women who are meek, जो कि ज़्यादा ही हम कहते हैं ना कि इस तरीके की कि वो they are not able to open their mouths or put their opinions across. They are not the women like that. They are the ones who are openly, talking about what they are feeling, right? So the quintessential themes that we also see in her works is the theme of transformation, or as Kafka puts it, metamorphosis, right? So we know that Franz Kafka himself, he had taken the idea from Ovid's work, Metamorphosis, and Kafka ने एक novella लिख दी थी, Metamorphosis. What does it mean literally? It means some sort of transformation. And we see that her immigrant experience, the immigrant experience that the characters in her novels are also facing, उसकी वजह से they are transforming. And but with that transformation, there will come a question mark. There will come a question mark that do I exist? Where do I exist? क्या मैं एक इंडियन हूँ या मैं अब यूके में आ गया हूँ? Do I belong to UK? कनाडा में आ गया हूँ या मैं कनाडा को बिलोंग करता हूँ? तो people because they are not living in the culture जिसमें वो पहले रहते थे, जैसे मैं पंजाब की एग्जाम्पल देना चाहूंगी, पंजाब या बाकी और एरियाज भी हम लोग देख सकते हैं. वी सी दैट पुराने टाइम पे पीपल आर द वंस जो कि पेड़ों के नीचे बैठते थे, टाइम स्पेंड करते थे. बट नाउ इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट एनी मोर, राइट? वी सी दैट हाउ even if somebody goes out and they come several years back after to the place जहां पे वो उनका जन्म हुआ था, they will see that things have completely changed. तो ना वो अब इधर के हैं ना वो उधर के हैं. The place that they moved to वहां के भी belong नहीं करते, जहां से थे literally वो भी change हो गया है. So the person is always in conflict as the diasporic writers put this thing across, right? The theme of journey is also seen. She was a person who used to write some sort of travel writings, travelogues as well, right? And a journey, यहाँ पे हम इस तरीके की जर्नी देखेंगे क्योंकि इमिग्रेंट एक्सपीरियंस हो रहा है, तो एक कंट्री से दूसरी कंट्री में भी द कैरेक्टर्स आर गोइंग. द थीम ऑफ फेमिनिज्म, ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू, the women in her writings are not the ones who are going to shut their mouths, be meek and suppressed by their male dominant parts. No, they are not going to be like that. Right? And the theme of loneliness, ये जो capitalism के साथ में भी आती है. When a person, they create a product, but the product has the tagline of the company rather than the person who has put the ingredients, rather than the person who has created it. So a person feels some sort of alienation that also comes across with that. Right? Moving forward, The Tiger's Daughter is the work that we first of all are going to deal with. That was the first novel published in the year 1972. It was about a sheltered Indian woman named Tara, who is shocked by her immersion in American culture, and when she returns to India, she also is, facing that cultural shock that now the Calcutta that I have come to, it has also changed. So we see that how the writers beautifully try to portray the workings of the mind of people. जैसे मैं आप लोग को बता रही थी अभी कि अगर कोई इंसान कनाडा में चला जाता है या for XYZ कंट्री में जाता है, they will feel that the culture that they had in India, अगर मैं पुराने टाइम्स की बात करूं, अगर मैं बात करूं मेरे से भी बड़े लोग जो थे, जैसे अगर मैं अपने मामूस की बात कर लूं, so of course we see that those were the people who were living in India when people were really connected to one another. They used to sit under the trees, शाम को बैठते थे, बातें करते थे, गप्पे लड़ाते थे. But now when he moved abroad, or any person moves abroad and he comes back and he sees no people are sitting under trees, they are not talking, they are just now sitting with their families, and even if they are sitting with their families, they are always on the phone. So that cultural shock also is something that Tara here in this particular novel faces. She wants to come back to her culture of Calcutta, but when she comes, she sees that Calcutta has also changed. It's not the one जिसमें वो पली बड़ी थी, right? So that is what we see in the work, The Tiger's Daughter. Again, summary you are supposed to read on your own. So Mukherjee writes with beautiful precision in this work, nearly needle pointing a malevolent world, a world which is cruel, a world which does not try to serve you everything on a silver spoon, right? So we see that. Moving forward to the next work we have by the name Wife, published in the year 1975. Again, an Indian woman's descent into madness as she is pulled apart by the demands of the cultures of her homeland and her new home in New York City. So she does not know where does she belong to. The theme of existentialism करा है ना हमने. So the theme that puts a question in our mind, what is my purpose? Do I belong to being a person जो कि इंडिया में है? मेरी आइडेंटिटी क्या बची है अब? क्या मैं इंडिया को बिलोंग करता हूँ or do I belong to the New York City? So how this particular girl faces that cultural shock and trauma that comes along with that, a question on her identity. Where do I belong to? Is it India my country, or is New York my new home? Right? And at times, even if I had moved from Punjab to Delhi, Delhi is a very good city, but still the change of the culture is something which is predominantly seen in here, right? It tells the story of Dimple Das Gupta, who's a young Indian woman whose arranged marriage to an engineer clashes with her romantic dreams. She has had a dream that a knight in shining armor will come to be the person who will be helping this girl. But यहाँ पे एक तो ये चीज important है, जैसे मैंने तुम लोग को बोला, that in Bharati Mukherjee's novels we will not see women as being the people जो कि damsel in distress है, ठीक है, who are the ones who are just sitting and waiting for a prince to come. They are not the ones. And even if we see that Dimple believes that a knight in shining armor will come, she is not the woman who is एक अबला नारी की तरह बैठी हुई है, right? So we see that cultural identity ka question mark, where do I belong in this particular work, right? So that's the front page in here. Mukherjee has built a small, fine, provocative novel that sparkles with the accuracy of its detail and rings with the inner terror and truth. The inner workings of the minds of the people कि अब मैं जाऊं तो जाऊं कहाँ, ठीक है? That's something which is of course a terror wali situation. Then we have the third novel, published in 1989, the eponymous protagonist's journey from the small village of Hasnapur, India, to Jalandhar, to Florida, to New York, and eventually to Iowa, inhabiting a different persona for every stop along the way. We'll see, जिसके ऊपर ये novel का title मिला है, that girl, when she'll keep on moving from one place to another, she will keep on changing her name, she'll keep on getting a new identity. But with the change of the name, we see that she now thinks, am I the person who is Jasmine? Am I the person who is Jyoti? Am I the person who is Jane or Jace? मैं हूँ तो हूँ कौन? Right? The protagonist and the narrator of the novel. Prakash Vij जो है, his first, he is the first husband of Jasmine, whom she marries while living in Hasnapur, India, and he is a modern man, a city man. So we see that how she will keep on gaining a new identity, but she will not have a revelation to the final identity to which she belongs. She'll keep on changing her names in the work, so to say. Right? So that was the cover page here. Then she has also penned some short fiction ka work, which was first book of short fiction, Darkness. Many of the stories, including The World According to Sue, are not only indictments of Canadian racism, because in Canada, racism is prevalent. People we see in Canada, they are from different indigenous tribes as well. So they at times, unknowingly, knowingly, they present some sort of racism as well, right? And the traditional Indian views of women, right, that how they are pativrata honi chahiye, all these things are portrayed, but also sharp studies the edgy inner lives of her characters. What are they thinking? वो सारी inner workings of the minds are also beautifully portrayed in her short fictional work as well, right? Then we have other works जिनमें से ये previous year question है, ये previous year question है, and जो आपका Jasmine था, ये भी previous year question ही था. Desirable Daughters, which came in 2002, intricate depictions of Indian caste relations and the immigrant experience of reuniting dissimilar worldview. Dissimilar worldview of India versus the other world. India versus the immigrant relationship that we see. Then she wrote a sequel to Desirable Daughters जिसका नाम था The Tree Bride. So yeah, जैसे मैंने बोला, these questions, these works are not going to be helpful just for the NET preparation, but also for your set exams as well. Right? So we see a sequel क्योंकि Desirable Daughters is the first work out of the two. So The Tree Bride 2004, 2 साल बाद, after the Desirable Daughters, a sequel to this particular work, broaching issues of the time-spanning ramifications of colonialism. How it has changed the worldview, how colonialism has impacted the lives of people. That is what we see in The Tree Bride. Her last novel, Miss New India, was published in the year 2011, and we have seen in the very first slides as well that she was, the person who passed away in the year 2017, right? Then she has written some memoirs with her husband, Clark Blaze. Days and Nights in Calcutta, 1977. So when she came back here in India, right, for a 14-month stay with her husband, both of them wrote this work in collaboration. उनके husband का नाम है Clark Blaze. The Sorrow and the Terror, which was about the haunting legacy of Air India tragedy 1987. So that is also something which is important with regards to her writing works in collaboration with her husband. Now coming to the questions here, and I have brought for this question Janbooj ke because I want you all to read the summary of this particular work, which is the answer. So the approach should be to pause the screens, try to read the question and try to answer and then play. What shape is the scar on Jasmine's forehead? The answer to this question is option D, that is star का sign है Jasmine के forehead पे. क्यों है, कहाँ से है, all these things, greater detailed summary. ठीक है? Moving to the next question. The following are the two lists of writers and their works. Match them. Pause, look at the options and answer. The answer to this question is option C. That is 1:2, 2:3. So 1:2, 2:3. Michael Ondaatje, Anil's Ghost, and Cyril Debedin, Drums of My Flesh. So 3:4, as we have seen. 3:4 and 4:1, right? 4:1, Drums of My Flesh. So these are certain questions that I hope were, the ones which were important, and the writer itself is very much important as far as the Indian writing of, in the English portion, the English literature aapke mein concern hota hai, right? So I'll see you guys again in some other video. Till then, you all keep on studying. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye-bye.